All right, welcome back in here to Live Now from Fox. I am Andy Mack. Thank you so much for joining us. A big change for small change. After more than 200 years, the U.S. Mint will no longer be making pennies. The Treasury pressed its last batch yesterday at a mint in Philadelphia. We're going to be joined right now by Fox's Asher Red on the ground in Nashville, Tennessee. Asher, some businesses say they won't be able to make exact change. What are you hearing?
Well, Andy, in February, President Trump told the Treasury to stop making pennies because it costs too much. So in May, the U.S. Mint ordered its last batch of penny blanks, which are made right here in Tennessee. And now some businesses, particularly restaurants, say they're already starting to lose pennies, and they're wondering what to do about it. U.S. Treasurer Brandon Beach pressed the last penny Wednesday morning.
Just over the last 10 years, production for a single penny has tripled while the demand has plummeted.
But some folks in the restaurant business are left asking what they should do if they don't have enough pennies to make change.
There's a lot of confusion for customers and restaurants alike on how to pay change. Can you round up? Can you round down?
But that could raise illegal issues, since laws in some parts of the country require businesses to give customers exact change.
The restaurant industry is trying not to make this a math quiz for every customer.
However, McDonald's locations in certain parts of the country have started rounding cash transactions to the nearest nickel. The company says in part, quote, following the discontinuation of pennies nationwide, some McDonald's locations may not be able to provide exact change. We have a team actively working on long-term solutions to keep things simple and fair for customers. There's also Love's Travel Stop, one of several roadside convenience stores rounding up change in the customer's favor. The company says it'll cover the difference. Meanwhile, some local retailers say they're not worried about being short of change. That's because last year, the Federal Reserve Financial Services reported the average person made 48 purchases a month, and only about 14% of those were in cash.
If we do thousands in sales, it could just be a very small amount of that is actually cash sales.
And the government says it was spending nearly 4 cents just to make a single penny. And according to the U.S. Treasury, this could save taxpayers $56 million per year just in production costs if the government stays with getting rid of this, of the penny. Now, of course, with the 300 billion pennies that are still in circulation, you still use those to make purchases. Andy?
All right, very interesting. And this final pennies might be worth more than just 1 cent. Is there any indication that they might use this as a memento of some kind? Because the last penny ever minted has got to be worth something, right?
Well, the very last penny, I found this out yesterday, they will be auctioning off. So about 5 pennies were pressed by Brandon Beach, the treasurer himself, yesterday. Those will be auctioned off, and hopefully a penny worth a few $1,000s won't be, put out there into a cash register in a Walmart somewhere, hopefully.
Yeah, plenty of puns out there, just my 2 cents. All right, Asher, thank you so much. I appreciate your time here on Live Now.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. All right, great conversation as always. And some people are sad to see the penny go. The final batch of pennies minted there in Philadelphia. Some real concerns with those 1 cent coins, of course. So very prominent around different people. Of course, they will continue to be in circulation. Let's take you out to this. The press conference yesterday in Philadelphia from the U.S. Mint as they had this big ceremony, press conference to take place about the final pennies in circulation.
Deputy Secretary of the Treasury, thank you for joining us on this historic occasion. Today we retire the penny. It is fitting that the penny bears the likeness of Abraham Lincoln. Before Lincoln was president, he was a lawyer. Before that, a clerk in Illinois. In that capacity, he earned the nickname Honest Abe. As a clerk, Lincoln was meticulous in every transaction. That's something that warms the heart of people like me who study and practice accounting. Lincoln, the store clerk, would track down customers if they failed to receive exact change. As legend has it, he once walked a few miles to find a man whom he had accidentally shortchanged, all to return just a few pennies. Lincoln knew that every cent counted, not only as a unit of currency, but as a measure of character. It's in that same spirit today that we retire the penny. It's my honor to introduce Brandon Beach, the 46th Treasurer of the United States. Treasurer Beach has been a steadfast leader, a trusted advisor to President Trump, and also to Secretary Bessent. Treasurer Beach's expertise in economic development, financial stewardship, combined with a decade of distinguished service in the Georgia State Senate and in the private sector, it makes him an invaluable force in advancing our economic and fiscal agenda. Under his guidance, Treasury has strengthened its commitment to transparency, sound governance, and service to the American people. Most notably, his leadership and counsel were instrumental in today's historic penny production initiative. It's an effort that underscores our enduring dedication to efficiency, national pride, and the American people. Following his remarks, we'll take some additional questions, but please join me in welcoming the Treasurer of the United States of America, Brandon Beach.
Well, thank you, Derek. Again, good afternoon, everybody, and I am Brandon Beach, 46th Treasurer of the United States. And I just want to welcome everybody to this historic city of Philadelphia for this historic event, the striking of the last penny. You know, I was driving over here with Alexandra and Todd, and we really were talking about what a historic day this is. The last time we've discontinued a coin was the half cent, and that was in 1857, 168 years ago. So everyone sitting in this room, we are experiencing history today. So we're glad that y'all are all here with us. You know, as public servants, it's our responsibility to steward public resources with prudence and transparency. However, over the last decade, the American taxpayers have been repeatedly shortchanged. I want you to think about this. Just over the last 10 years, production for a single penny has tripled while the demand has plummeted. Given the rapid modernization of the American wallet, the Department of the Treasury and President Trump no longer believe the continued production of the penny is fiscally responsible or necessary to meet the demands of the American public. This is another example of President Trump's common sense agenda. The cost savings of ending penny production will save the American taxpayer approximately $56 million a year in just production cost alone. Now, I'm going to repeat that. We're going to save the taxpayers of America $56 million a year. I think that deserves a round of applause. So by taking this step, we protect taxpayer dollars, streamline operations, and better align our currency with the way Americans use their modern wallets. Although today we say goodbye to the continued production of our copper 1 cent coin, let me be crystal clear. The penny remains legal tender. We have over 300 billion pennies that remain in circulation, and we encourage you to use them. I want to also give a special thank you to Christy McNally, the acting director of the U.S. Mint. Christy, and your whole team, your team here that produces the penny, and also your police force. Let's give them a round of applause also. Thank you. And finally, I want to say this. Secretary Bessent, I met with him last week. He was looking forward to being here with you guys to be in this historic event. Unfortunately, he's in New York doing the people's business. And I can tell you this, I've been there 7 months, and in my opinion, he's the hardest working member of the cabinet. I'll give you an example. I was sitting in my office one day, and I see him sitting next to the Queen of England having dinner. The next day, I see him on TV negotiating a tariff with a country. And then 2 days later, I see him on 3 different Sunday shows. He's out there working hard. We're lucky to have Secretary Bessent in Treasury, and the American people are lucky to have Secretary Bessent at the helm. So he was wanting to be here with you. He appreciates, and I can tell you this, he appreciates everything that you do here at the Mint to produce the coins, both legal tender coins and commemorative coins. And we all appreciate your hard work. So with that, we're going to end this, and I guess we're going to go stamp some some coins. So thank you all for being here. Yeah, you know, we're saying goodbye to the penny today, but let me just be crystal clear. Like I said, it's still legal tender, and we have over 300 billion of them in circulation, and we want you to continue using them. So we're not getting rid of the penny. We're discontinuing the production of it, but we're not eliminating as legal tender. So you can still use it at your stores and retail outlets. The last 2 pennies, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have these pennies and we're gonna auction them off. We've already ended circulation in June. We stamped the last batch of pennies, but we will have these to auction off.
The proceeds of the auction will go to the Public Enterprise Fund at the US Mint, and then we will return it to the general fund at the end of the year. Okay. Yes. We're going to take
Penny, for your thoughts right there, learning a little bit